What's going on, guys? Austin Zay back here with another YouTube video, and in today's video we're going to be talking about why I believe the world is headed to a cashless society, and with everything going on right now, why I genuinely think that it might be happening sooner than you think. If you're new to my channel, then you probably don't know, but one of my side hustles or one of my streams of income is the ATM business. And obviously, if we're headed towards a cashless society, then the ATM business will be no longer. So this really hits home for me, and I want to make sure that I give you all of the information you need to know on whether or not we're really going away from cash. What everybody was telling me when I got into the ATM business was, Austin, you are nuts, you're out of your mind, you're crazy, cash is going away, you're going to go bankrupt, you're going to lose all your money. Okay, just calm down for just a minute. I promise the ATM business is not my main source of income. Okay, so I do have other sources of income, so it wouldn't actually bankrupt me, but it wouldn't be good either, okay? Because when you look at it, I mean, come on, there's all of these different forms of payments. You have Venmo, you have Cash App, you have PayPal, you have debit cards, you have credit cards, you have Apple Pay. It is truly unbelievable. And don't even get me started on cryptocurrency. I mean, I can pay with Bitcoin, Litecoin, Ethereum, and one of another probably 1,000 or 2,000 different coins. And you're probably not in the ATM business, so probably you're like, Austin, maybe this video doesn't even apply to me. I'm about to click off the video. I promise this video also applies to you, because if cash goes away, it could disrupt the economy. So definitely make sure you stay to the end of the video. I have a lot of amazing stuff that I want to share with you, and all you have to do is smash that like button. Okay, let's go ahead and jump right into it. In January, New York actually passed a law requiring businesses to accept dollar bills. Philadelphia, San Francisco, and New Jersey have also passed similar laws. Several other cities, such as Washington, D.C., have actually thought about doing a similar move. There's also been talk in the White House that they might make a nationwide law requiring small businesses to actually accept cash. However, throughout the entire world, governments like Sweden have been truly trying to go to a cashless society by 2023, passing laws that are extremely aggressive. Cash transactions over 1,000 euros are now illegal in Italy and France. Cash transactions over 200,000 pesos are illegal in the country of Mexico. Russia has banned cash transactions over $10,000. Spain is banning cash transactions over 2,500 euros. And Australia is banning cash transactions of over $10,000. In 1969, America actually discontinued the $500 bill, the $1,000 bill, the $5,000 bill, and the $10,000 bill. And in 2003, they finally discontinued the $2 bill. So it really seems to me like overall the path to decreasing cash circulation throughout the world has been going on for many years now. So we're just gonna go over really quick the pros and the cons of going cashless and what that would mean for people like you and I, and how it would actually affect the economy and how it would affect our day-to-day lives. So we're gonna go ahead and talk about the advantages or the pros of actually going to a cashless society. Number one is obviously paper trails. And as a self-proclaimed control freak, I obviously love going onto my bank statement and looking at where I actually spent my money. Every time I swipe my card or send a PayPal or Cash App or Venmo or Apple Pay or whatever I do, you know, I can see exactly what happened, right? I know on that date, at that time, I spent that money. I mean, literally just a few days ago, I had like $40 in my wallet, and then all of a sudden a couple of days went by and I looked in my wallet because I went to valet my car to try to get some food, and the $40 was gone. And I was like, wait a minute, did I spend it or did I, like, what happened to it? Did it get stolen? Did somebody take it? And I couldn't remember what I even did with the $40. And I know for a fact that I am not the only one that has happened to. You literally have some money and you're like, what in the heck happened to it? Another benefit of going to a cashless society is that your finances are actually automated. You don't have to actually balance your checkbook like your grandpa. I mean, depending on what age you were, maybe you were balancing your checkbook. I don't know. I can't really remember having to balance my checkbook, but yeah, I don't really know what that would be like. And if you want to take it even a step further, a lot of bank accounts these days actually have their own app or their own software that they'll offer you that will help you actually track your expenses, your income, and it'll categorize everything. It'll tell you exactly what is going on, and it'll tell you whether or not you have more month at the end of the money or more money at the end of the month. And obviously, as we've talked about many times, the last thing you want is to have more month at the end of the money. Cash has major limitations on actual budgeting, okay? And I know, you're like, Austin,
but I watch Dave Ramsey and I do the envelope method, and I love the envelope method, and I can't do the envelope method or the piggy bank method or the jar method if I go cashless.
But realistically, it is a lot harder when you use cash to know what in the world you spend your money on, where you spent it, and having to track everything can actually be kind of a pain, especially because 49% of US adults actually spend cash on purchases less than $10. And trust me when I say all of those little things that cost $3, $5, $9, those things really add up. And I get it. I know you're standing there in the Starbucks coffee line and you're like, $5, no big deal. But you do that every day, and let me tell you, that's $150 a month. And if you take that $150 a month that didn't seem like a lot of money when you spent it in $5 increments, and you just saved the money altogether, you went a different route with your coffee, or maybe you just cut coffee out of your life altogether, and you invested that $150 into a compound interest, I don't know, anything, okay? Anything that could get you 7% annually, which you can do in like a really good potential ETF or a mutual fund or something like that, or even real estate or whatever, okay? So compound interest at 7% over 30 years with that initial $1,800 from year one with an additional $150 a month, you end up with $183,731.47, okay? So just to kind of, break that down for you, that is a significant amount of money off of a simple $5 purchase every day that you never even thought about and you can't even track because you are using cash. And speaking of paper trails, white-collar crimes and other financial crimes would be much harder to execute and actually pull off, considering when everything is tracked and you have a record of everything. I mean, it's just a lot easier to actually catch a white-collar criminal or a financial criminal. And some of you are probably like, whoa, I do not want the government in my business, and I do not want them to know about every single thing that I do or everything that I buy, and that is why I use cash. Okay, and we're gonna talk about that in a little while. So again, if you haven't already, go ahead and just click that like button, smash it, punch it, do whatever you gotta do to get it to go from where it is at now to turning blue, and we're gonna continue on. The second reason that you would want to go to a cashless society is no maintenance trouble, okay? There's a lot of time, a lot of energy, and a lot of effort that goes into maintaining bills, okay? You have to count it, you have to store it, you have to secure it, you have to take it to the bank. There's all of these different things that businesses and people have to do, even the government and banks, that costs a lot of time, a lot of money, and a lot of overhead. Here's what it costs the actual governments to make the different bills, okay? $1 bills and $2 bills cost 4.9 cents per note. $5 bills cost 10.9 cents per note. $10 bills cost 10.3 cents. Both $20 and $50 bills cost 10.5 cents, and a $100 bill costs 12.3 cents. Essentially, the more it is worth, the more it actually costs to make. And not by much, but it does actually cost a little bit more depending on how much it is actually worth. And as we talked about earlier, physical money actually costs a lot of money to transport because of just, look at the physical amount of space it takes up to transport money. To put into perspective, $100 million in $100 bills is about the size of a pallet that looks a little bit like that. $1 billion is 10 of those pallets. There are at least 536 people in America who have 10 of those pallets that we just talked about, to kind of put it into perspective for you. Bill Gates alone has about 800 of those pallets of money that we've been talking about. The third thing that would be a pro of a cashless society is it would actually be a lot more convenient. Have you ever traveled abroad, you went to Australia or the UK or wherever, and you had to go to a foreign exchange and you had to actually exchange your currency, put it in your duffel bag, put it in your suitcase, and carry it on the airplane, and then they make you fill out that stupid form when you're 38,000 feet in the air trying to enjoy your cocktail, and you have to let them know exactly how much cash you have on you at your person at any given time and hope that the dog doesn't sniff you when you're going through customs on the other side. So let's just face it, the convenience of using Apple Pay or credit or debit card or some form of online, payment processor is a lot easier than actually having to use cash. I will admit it, and again, I do own an ATM business, okay? So for me to admit this right now, you may as well screen record the video because I'm probably not ever gonna say this again. So we talked about all the benefits of going to a cashless society. Now let's talk about all the benefits essentially to not going to a cashless society. One of the first main reasons that I love cash and I would never want to go to a cashless society altogether is because cash has such a broad reach. It is essentially the most successful non-discriminatory form of payment. And what I mean by that is, you ever gone to the bank and you don't have any money to open a bank account? They're not going to let you open a bank account. Or if your balance drops below a certain amount, you get charged with that stupid bank fee every single month. And I mean, it is just kind of bananas, okay? So, actually having cash and not being forced to go to the bank and have a bank account if you don't want to or you can't afford it, again, appeals to everybody. And you might be thinking like, Austin, what in the world did I get myself into by watching this video? I mean, come on, who in the heck does not have a bank account? And I'm here to tell you, there are actually a lot of people that do not have a bank account. I mean, older people are a great example who just don't trust the online system and they do not have a bank account. They cash their check, and that is that. In 2017, approximately 6.5 million people in the US did not have a primary bank account. And that translates to about 14.1 million adults in the US without a bank account. Studies also show that lower income individuals are actually much more likely to pay cash. More than half, or 52.7% of American unbanked households cited that they do not have enough money to keep in a bank account as the main reason for not having an account. In a nutshell, having no cash payments is actually discriminatory towards people that are unbanked or do not have a bank account, which is why you're seeing cities like Philadelphia, New York, and New Jersey actually ban the idea of not allowing cash. In other words, they're actually forcing businesses to accept cash. And the second reason why you would not really want to go to a cashless society is actually exposure. As you probably heard, they're saying that data is the new oil. Obviously, we know that everything is being tracked. Now, whether or not it's being legally tracked or illegally tracked, it is probably being tracked, whether it be through Amazon Alexa or Siri or Google Home. Have you ever been at home talking with a friend or with your girlfriend, your husband, your wife, or whoever, drinking a glass of wine, and you talk about something, maybe some sort of product or whatever the case is, and the next day you're scrolling through Amazon and all of a sudden you see it right there on the side, like just an ad of exactly what you were talking about, and you just swear on everything that you never actually typed that in anywhere. All you did was talk about it. My opinion is that Jeff Bezos and guys like Mark Zuckerberg just really know what they're doing, okay? So look, in a nutshell, privacy would be a very big concern if you were to go to a true cashless society. Whoever it is, somebody would essentially have the data on where we spend our money, the location in which we spent it on, how much we spent, and they would be able to track all of our analytics. And I don't know about you, but I'm just not 100% down. There are times where I just want to go pay cash. Regardless of what it is that you believe in, or whether or not you want to go to a cashless society or you like cash, in my opinion, taking away, the government actually taking away cash is, you lose a little bit of your American freedom. I mean, in essence, everybody would have to have a bank account. It would be mandatory. You wouldn't be able to live your life without a bank account. And I mean, banks, again, not to get too much into it, already have so much control over your normal average people, really everybody in general. So why give them any more control if we don't have to? And as you know, anytime a government gains that amount of control, they have that much more power. And I don't know about you, again, I'm not too much into that whole thing, but I don't want to give anybody any more power than they have to have. At any time, banks could mandate some sort of wild fee or wild rule that we would basically have to abide by at that point. To do things 100% online would mean that you have a higher risk of some sort of data breach, exposing your personal information to somebody that probably doesn't deserve to have it or shouldn't have it at all. In 2018, it's actually estimated that about 14.4 million people in the US were victims of some sort of identity fraud, according to Javelin Research. If a hacker got into your bank account and drained your bank account, in theory, you would have nothing. You wouldn't be able to live. You wouldn't be able to do anything. Come on, that seems a little bit unrealistic. Are there a lot of other options besides cash? Yeah, there absolutely is. Okay, there are a ton of different options, and you definitely don't have to use cash if you don't want to. However, eliminating cash altogether in the United States of America does not really seem like a viable option, in my opinion. I just think that, in my opinion, you kind of need cash. There is enough cash in circulation that just eliminating it altogether doesn't seem too likely to me. So, my opinion is that at the end of the day, my grandma, she's gonna wanna go and get her nails done or get her hair done, and she's gonna pay cash. The likelihood that my grandma at 70 or 80 years old pulls out her Apple Pay or her Venmo or her Cash App, look, it's basically not likely at all, okay? So with that being said, I hope you enjoyed today's video. I would love to hear what your thoughts are about going 100% cashless or definitely letting cash continue to circulate through the economy. Drop it in the comments section below and let me know. And if you haven't already, go ahead and smash that like button, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video.